In this video, we're going to be talking about something called state. Now, we're going to be ignoring this little button that we just made and mostly focusing on how this text input works and, like I said, this other thing called state in React. What you can do to start off is you're going to want to go up top right above the render, but still below that class, and just type out state equals, and then it's an object, so you want to put some curly braces in there. Now, what state is it's a way of having like localized variables be set inside of a component so that we can change something with our state and then the component will re-render and display the new stuff on screen. Now, to visualize that, we're just going to kind of show you how it works. There's not really a good way of explaining it, especially if you're new to React. The best thing you can do is just kind of see how it works. So what we're going to do inside the state is we're going to say, we're going to call this to do, put a colon, and inside these quotes we're going to say this is our message on screen. Okay? No semicolon at the end. Remember, this is an object, so just don't mess that up there. State is sometimes very fragile, so if you do the wrong thing, bad things will happen to your app. So right after this button tag, we're going to put in a text tag, opening and closing. And inside here, we're going to call that state message. So we're going to say this dot state dot to do. Now, if we re-render this app, you'll see right below, this is our message on screen is popping up. So basically, like I said, it's like a localized variable that we can just kind of put some stuff in here, and we'll call it saying we want to get this state. So we want to get this state right here, and we want to get the to do out of it, and we want to put it inside of the text. Now notice we use these curly braces inside of the return. Now whenever we do that, basically we're going to be putting some sort of a variable on screen. Just whatever you do, make sure you never do something like this where you have no braces and then you run it, because you're not going to get any kind of variable stuff in there. It's going to be like a static, this state dot to do, this dot state dot to do. It's not what you want. You want this to be acting as a variable. So state, like I said, localized variable. But the cool thing is, if you change state while your app is running, it'll change too. Like things will re-render. And what I mean by that is, if we go into the text input here, so we're going to add a new prop onto it. We're going to this is a built-in prop, by the way. So if you ever build your own component, you can build your own props. But for these components, these are built-in props. So we need to say on change text is equal to, we'll put some curly braces there, and we're going to use an ES6 JavaScript function, which basically just means we put some parentheses here. We're going to say text because we're passing in the text variable, and then make an arrow with equal sign greater than, and then you're going to want to say this dot state, or sorry, this dot set state text. This is a little bit of ES6 JavaScript, so the newest version of JavaScript magic, because we just basically we're running a function in here. This is the parameter for the function. This is creating this is like calling, not calling, but like setting up the function, and then whatever we put in here, as long as we don't have like curly braces, is automatically returned for the function and ran subsequently. Now this dot set state thing, we'll talk about how this works later on, but just make sure you have this dot set state, and then in here, this is also a little bit of ES6 magic. Normally you would say this dot set state and then say we want to set the text to whatever this is, but I actually messed that up. Normally, I was looking at my notes. Normally, if you're doing ES6 and you have text colon text, you can just get rid of that part and you could just have the one. But for this case, our state in this little example is to do, so we actually want to say to do colon text. So to do colon text, and we're going to go ahead and run this. And if I start typing some stuff in here, you'll notice that that initial message changed. So let me just rerun that component and show you one more time. So we have this is our message on screen, right? Which is the same thing we have in state. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start changing the text on change text. and it's going to set the state to whatever we just passed in. So it's going to erase this message and put in whatever we got here. So hello. Because I just put hello in here, it just changed that state instantaneously and just started putting in the new state right here. So the component's re-rendering stuff in there. And this is a pretty interesting way on how you can get some very active applications going on in React Native. So I'm going to cut this short because I don't want to make the state video too long. You're just getting introduced to this. This is how state works, and I'll kind of dive into some of the intricacies later on.